Hey guys and girls, or men and women. Welcome to this live stream that I'm nervous to talk about. I don't know why my intuition is telling me to talk about all these topics that I'm really nervous to talk about lately. Hey Tammy. So thanks for joining me live, guys. My name is Hannah, Life Purpose Queen, awakening you to living your dreams. If you don't know me and this is your first live stream, please comment below and say hi. If you're watching the replay, comment replay love below and let me know that you're watching this. Hey Leon, hey Aurora, 2 times in 1 day, yay! Awesome. So yes, I'm a little bit nervous to share this. I've already said that right. Okay, just got to talk about this. Hey Kylia, I am feeling really cold to talk about this because, hey Judy, lovely to have all you guys here. Okay, I'm nervous. Okay, let's just refresh this screen and let's get into it. Hey, surprise live. Yeah, now I've got my team. I can come live a little bit more in the public, which is awesome. That's what you got a team for, right? Okay, hey Allison. So what prompted me to do this live stream is I seeing a lot of people. Oh, thanks Allison. Just a reflection of you and what's inside you. So what prompted me to do this live stream was I'm seeing a lot of like relationship breakups going on around the place at the moment. Seeing a lot of, I guess I am coming on this live stream with a little bit of like irkiness. In a sense, it's like it has prompted me to speak about it just because I used to be that person, and I guess I'm not saying it's bad because I wouldn't be who I am today. I wouldn't have learnt what I've learnt today, you know, and be the person who I am. Do you know what I mean? So there's nothing bad or wrong with what I'm saying. It's just that I'm pointing out things that I used to do and what I see and saw back then, of what I experienced and what I went through. And I'm really nervous to talk about this. I'm really nervous to talk about it. Okay. Hey, Siav. Love having all you guys join me live. Thank you. Okay. So, first of all, do you have any questions about conscious relationships? If you do, post them down below. Now, the things that I guess I want to talk about the most is that, thanks, like I kind of don't know where to start, and I do. That's why I'm like, if you've got any questions about a conscious relationship, let me know, right? Because I guess this is also stemming off, if you guys haven't seen the live stream I did, it was over, it was about 18 months ago now, nearly 18 months ago. Hey, Erin. And it was like, this kind of feels like in the same, I guess, maybe tone of the live stream I did 18 months ago. Single dads, I've got something to say to you. Because, like, I look back over, especially the 5-year relationship I had through codependency. Like, that was like the real wake up to the codependency relationship that I was in, right? And that I'd had been in since I was like 13, right? Since I started dating, basically, I was in like relationships. 18 months, yes, there's that 18-month thing again, right? Thanks for pointing that out. Thanks, Kalia. So, yeah, and I guess the thing, okay, so just talk, Hannah, let's just get it out, just spit the damn thing out. So I'm seeing posts, right? I'm seeing like relationship breakups in my feed. Hey, Cody. Seeing relationship breakups in my feed, and then I'm seeing the same people post like, oh, well, like a conscious man will do this for his woman, and a conscious man will do this for his woman, and a conscious man will do this for his woman, and like all this stuff. And I guess it's like irking me a little bit because I broke up with my ex early on in the piece many, many times, like over and over and over again, because he wasn't conscious, right? It was like, you know, I'm like, oh, I do all this spiritual work and I'm like a spiritual like person and like, you know, I do all this, but he's not conscious. So like he can fuck off basically. Now, there's so many aspects to that point, and I see your comments. I'll reply to them in a moment. There's so many different aspects to this that I really want to point out. Like, there's so much I could talk about this, and it's kind of why I want to talk on live stream, but there's like, I could create novels on this stuff, right? Books and books and books. So it's like, I guess that's what I used to do. I would break up with him because he wasn't conscious enough, or he wasn't doing this spiritual work, or he wasn't doing this, or he wasn't doing that, or he did that wrong. Oh, well, he's actually doing that wrong as well. Oh, well, that's wrong as well. No, you need to be doing it this way. And like all this, like focus on him. Now, what do I always say about those fingers pointing at the other person? Oh, it's me. It took me quite some time to wake up to that. Now, he would always say, oh, you're like acting like a 15-year-old. You're doing this. He would throw shit back in my face too. Why? Because I was doing, you're doing this wrong. You're doing that. You're not meeting my needs. Oh no, you're doing that wrong too. Oh no, this is wrong. No, don't do that. No, you're not being there for me. But was I being there for him? No. Was I turning up to the relationship how I fucking wanted the relationship to be? No. There's a card that I pull and it says something like, oh, like it's in the Michael deck. And it says something along the lines like, I don't know, I can't remember exactly, but the thing that's jumping out at me is like, don't expect perfectionism in the relationship because it puts too much pressure on the other person, blah, blah, blah. Like, I can't remember the exact thing. The point that I'm saying is that when we have so much focus, and I guess I am speaking in this live stream from a woman's perspective to a man and what they're doing wrong and what they're doing, you know, like, well, they're not turning up to relationship. Oh, well, they're sleeping all the time. Oh, well, they're like not doing the conscious work or like, you know, whatever, right? And I really want to speak to this in a sense of like, what do we do when we outgrow our men? Right? So, and maybe it could be the other way around. So my hair is just, I just need to fix up my hair. Okay, that's better. So like, what do we do? Like when I got distracted by my hair. Because I guess there's like so many things and I'm really nervous, like I'm shaking, right? Talking about this topic. Because I feel like it's a very touchy subject. It's a very delicate issue and it's a very personal one, right? And this is the thing I really want to point out here, right? There is no right or wrong. There is nothing that you have ever done wrong in any relationship ever in your life, right? Why? I'm seeing you guys' comments. I will respond to them shortly. Ever. We've never done anything wrong. Why? Because it's bringing us to this moment of awakening right now. Yeah? There's things that I look back on in how I treated my ex, and I've cried in session many times about how remorseful I feel. My hair's really annoying me. How remorseful I feel about how I did treat him. Yeah, how I did treat him. Okay, thanks for reminding me about the outgrow man. I saw you do it as well, Leanne. Because the thing I want to say first, well, that's an interesting point, Cody, right? Because when I look back, right, and this is the thing that I cried about in session many times with Lois, and the remorse that I felt of how, I guess, hurtful I was to my ex. Not realizing it at the time. Yes, it takes two to tango, and yes, there's all this other shit that I could talk about. I'm just talking about my part right now, okay? Because if I knew what I knew now, and at the end of our 5-year relationship, if I knew that in the start of our 5-year relationship, we'd probably still be together. Or maybe we wouldn't, actually. Here's another important point, right? Because the reason that I broke up with him, went back to him, broke up with him, went back to him, the reason that I did that, because in the very, very start of that relationship, my intuition knew that it wasn't right. But I went against that. Now it's twofold. I wrote a blog years ago, or ages ago, about why women don't trust their men. Why women don't trust their men. Because we don't trust ourselves. We didn't trust our intuition in the very start about the relationship not being right for us. And so we continued anyway. So the other factor in this and why I went back so much and why, because on your point there, Cody, when you said as a woman you need to know what a man is doing, the thing that made me cry so much in remorse, in, you know, and I have Lois to thank for many, many sessions for like the past, 4 years straight to help me realize all this stuff, is that the reason I went back is because I'd never actually felt so much love from a man or any person in my life ever. And what I was also doing was pushing that away. And by the time I did let it in, it was too late. There'd been too much hurt. There'd been too much to and from and all the shit in between. That if I just let it in the start, to say we'd still be together is like, actually, like, I don't know, like, to be honest, because if I go back to the very start, when it was like the very, very start, if I just listened to my intuition in the first place, none of that shit would have happened. You know how I say, like, well, I don't know if I say it, but you know, when we don't listen to our intuition, shit gets worse, right? Shit gets worse. When we don't listen to our intuition, that's why I'm like, trust your intuition, guys. Like, listen, like, why don't we trust our intuition? Why do we get these intuitive messages and then we go against that? And then we wonder why we're falling apart in this great big mess and like all this shit happens in every aspect of our life. And we're like, what's going on? What is the intuition saying? I don't know, because I'm too far away from it to hear it, right? You just went through this with my ex. Yeah, I'm going to share, I put the Single Dads live stream on my YouTube ages ago. If you guys haven't, especially men, but actually women, if you really want to wake up or have a deeper level of understanding and awareness and stuff, I'm going to share this YouTube in the link in the comments so you can find it. If you haven't watched the Single Dads I Have Something to Say to You live stream, please watch it. I did it about 18 months ago. It was quite in the middle of all the remorse that I was feeling in realizing how much I actually hurt my ex and hurt men in general. It's making me want to cry now, to be honest, because the thing about the title of this, right? I thought that I wanted a conscious man, right? And the thing of what I want to share here too, of what you guys reminded me, and I know there's more comments, I will go back through them. What do we do when we outgrow our men, right? 2 really important questions. Just let me share this Single Dads live stream before I forget. It's somewhere here. It was a really powerful one. And it made me cry. I guess just, you know, like tapping in. I can't find it. I'll do it later. Can you please remind me, Christine? You know, I thought we wanted to, I'm just going to give you the answer right now, and then I'm kind of going to explain it, right? So my thing of like, I thought that I wanted a conscious man, okay? And a big reason, you know, like there's so many factors, and that's why I'm like, there's no real like right or wrong definite path. Like it's not like, yes, it was this. It's linear. It's all the factors kind of in one that's led me to this space where I am now, right? And when I say I thought I wanted a conscious man, like that was a big thing about me, like being with my ex, going back to my ex, like all this stuff, right? It was like, he's not conscious. He's not doing the work. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. He's wrong. Oh my God, this happened and he did this. Like all this shit was on, like I was just blaming him for like everything. And he would say that to me at the time, right? He would literally say, and I'm like, fuck you, you're not doing this, blah, 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 right? At the end of the day, what it was me not taking responsibility for my part in it, like me doing my own inner work. But why was I so strong on that? Like, you know, and whatever, it's like, who really knows? But at the end of the day, it was because I didn't have the courage to leave the relationship when I felt so much love from that man, when I intuitively knew it wasn't right. But because I felt so much love and I never felt that before, I stayed. And I was like doing, you know, like, but then because my intuition was telling me it wasn't right, but I didn't want to believe it because I'd never felt that much love before, I would stay. But because there was this, I guess, discord in myself around, oh, I'm feeling so much love, but there's all these factors that didn't feel right, but I went against them. The fight wasn't actually with him, it was actually with myself, and I was projecting that out because I wasn't trusting my intuition. There's so many factors that come into play about that, right? 100%. Yeah, I know. And this is where I'm saying that there's no right or wrong or whatever. I'm just seeing like a few people in my feed, like saying all this stuff, like I guess breaking up with a man and then posting all this stuff. Like, it's kind of like, I did post it yesterday and they're like, I'm never speaking to them again. And like, blocking them and like, fuck them, they're so bad. And then like 2 days later, you're like, what's going on? Like, why haven't I heard from them? Like, I did that shit, right? Throw these abandonment bombs, block them, do all that, right? I thought that I wanted a conscious man. Here is the thing, right? Didn't trust my intuition at the start. Like, again, there's all these things, and it's not right or wrong. It's not one thing. It's all linear. It's not this. It's a spider web. It's the whole entire thing, right? So it's all these factors kind of in one. The other part of it is that I wanted support. I wanted that strength. I wanted the dedication. I wanted the commitment. I wanted all that. But what that was is my own inner masculine, right? It's my own inner masculine of wanting that solid support, the consistent solid love and support, yeah? Until I healed my inner masculine, who is able to consciously hold space for me. When I was able to consciously hold space for myself, when I was able to be there for myself, when I was able to take full responsibility for every single aspect in my life and not rely or get my needs met from other people. That does not mean I do not ask for help. That does not mean I do everything on my own. That does not mean I don't do, like, let stuff in, okay? Because the feminine is receiving, but the masculine holds the space for the feminine to be able to receive. And if we've got this internal unbalanced, unstructured space within ourselves, if we've got any hurt or anger or anything towards the masculine, that is going to reflect in our outer reality. But what that also is that it doesn't hold space for us to trust our intuition, because that trust deeply falls, like, I say fall in, but it's like a structural, you know, like the solar plexus, right? We're in the solar plexus week at the moment in the Reality Awareness support group. If you're not in there, it's a free group. Send me a message, I'll add you to it. I posted about this yesterday publicly because I'm like, the solar plexus is huge, right? The solar plexus is like this power pole of energy, right? It's our self-worth, it's our self-esteem, it's our belief in ourselves, it's our trust in ourselves, right? If we don't, that me not trusting my intuition in the very start and being reflected in a man that wasn't good enough for me, that he didn't do this and he didn't do that and he didn't do that and he didn't do that, that's me not doing that for myself. And this is where I'm saying, if I did all those things, if I knew now if I knew back then what I knew now, we might still be together. Now, who knows, right? But I'm saying the relationship would be very different, because until I did all that stuff, it wasn't until my entire reality changed. It wasn't until I started attracting different relationships. I thought that I wanted a conscious man, but the conscious man was actually myself. It was my own inner masculine healing that I needed to do to then attract a different vibration of a man into my life. It wasn't until I could hold space for myself that I then attracted people who would also hold space for me. What happens when we outgrow our men? We hold space for them. We trust our intuition. We listen to what we do. Because at the end of the day, everybody is growing. Even if you think that they're not. That's your internal projection projected out to them. If you also think that they're not growing, they won't be. But if you really think about it, when does a person or a child ever stop growing? Whatever projection you have about your partner is also what you will experience. You want to change your relationship on the outer, you do the inner work and you change your inner reality, then you listen to your intuition about what to do. But usually you grow and you grow and you grow and you grow that you can hold space for anyone and anything. That does not mean you don't listen to your intuition. That does not mean you beat yourself up for doing something bad in the past or a wrong choice. There's no fucking wrong choices ever. Why? Because when you were back then, it wasn't like you were like saying, oh, this is the wrong choice, I'm going to do that. No, right? Give you a little bit of an example, okay? Here's another important factor in I thought that I wanted a conscious man. I listened to every single person outside of myself and my relationship other than having conversation with him about what's going on. I talked to the women that I was connected to. I talked to the groups I was connected to. Did I actually talk to him and have an open, honest communication about what was going on? No, I just talked to everyone else and told them all my shit. And they're like, oh, well, you need to leave him. I'm like, oh, maybe I better leave him. Oh yeah, that's what, because he's wrong and he's bad and he's this and he's fucked because he did this to me. Did I even talk to him about it? Fuck no. Just started an argument. Why? Because I was listening to everyone outside of myself and they were reflecting the doubts of my own intuition about moving and on in the first place, about not listening to myself in the first place, right? Because your intuition always knows. We make a decision and then we doubt ourselves and then we talk to everyone else outside of our situation and everybody's going to have an opinion. And if you tell someone a negative standpoint, they're probably going to respond with a negative standpoint. Talk to the person involved or do the inner work. Find a mentor who's also done the inner work. Trust your intuition. Bring it to the table. And then, after 30 days of doing that consistently, then make a decision. Another important thing I've learnt about, I thought I wanted a conscious man, was that and I hate saying this, my reactions are what killed a lot of intimacy, trust, connection in our relationship. And again, it's twofold. It takes two to tango, blah, 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 right? But that's not about him. This is about me. He would also say to me, your reactions are like what ruins everything. I'm like, no. I wouldn't speak to him for 3 months. I learned a bucket load. I have a lot of gratitude for him because it wouldn't be where I am today. Being able to hold space for all the people that I do in my life, in my business, you guys here, my tribe. Sharing from this heartfelt space if it wasn't for what I experienced and went through. I thought that I wanted a conscious man. Was actually myself being able to hold space for myself, was me actually being able to care for myself, right? I always talk about this masculine, right? This outer masculine. Okay, I am going to go through these comments in a sec because I know they're going off my screen, but I want to talk to that. He wouldn't talk to me when I tried. Okay, couple of things there, okay? Men don't like talking, full stop. 2, women never give them space to talk. We're like, blah, 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 blah. And before they've even had time to process that, we're like, blah, 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 blah. And then, oh, and hang on a sec, blah, 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 blah. Oh, but this as well, blah, 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 blah. That's why they're like, hang on, I just go into my cave and I'm not talking to you. And then we feel abandoned because we just did that. Well, we did that, whatever, right? Okay. I say to women, I say to my clients, say the sentence, one sentence, clearly, zip, wait. Train yourself and learn to wait for an answer. This is not that men are slower than us and they don't process fast than us. Like, no, this is not fucking about it. This is, we have 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. This is about speaking our needs clearly, putting our needs on the table, waiting for a response, accepting if that person cannot meet your needs and says, no, I can't do that. We're like, okay, cool. I need to go and meet that myself. Okay, maybe it's the other way around. Thank you for sharing that, Timothy. So it's not just men, because some men are the opposite. Thank you for sharing that, Timothy. Let me just go through these comments here before they go off my screen, because for some reason they go off my screen. Let me just, if you guys have got questions, yeah. Okay, and the other thing is that we're not comfortable with space. Like, human beings are not really comfortable with space. Like, when we say something and then we're like, gotta like hold space and listen. Why? Like, just notice throughout the day how often you take space. We're usually too busy doing something. We want to, like, you know, why aren't we comfortable with space? Again, there's very ear chakra, right? If you are in my reality awareness support group and you didn't do the ear chakra week, go and do all the, watch the live stream, read all the stuff about the ear chakras, right? It's space. What happens in the space? Oh shit, we have to feel. We need to feel what's going on. And sometimes that's really uncomfortable. If you're in that group, then go and watch the heart chakra live stream, please. It's all the tools in there. Okay, let me just check out these comments, right? Okay. Oh, okay. So the other thing I want to, yep, awesome. I'll speak to all these comments. I'm just starting from the top so they don't disappear off my screen. So when you said, Cody, you said, as a woman, you need to know what a man is doing. I really want to point this out, that through like 3 years of solid therapy, like of Lois holding space for me and me processing all this, what I realized that I guess my man was doing back then, you know how I said like, so my ex, you know how I said, oh damn it, what did I say? So I would like break up with him and then I'd go back to him. I'd break up with him and go back to him. And the reason was because I'd never felt so much love from a person before, let alone a man in a relationship, right? There was ups and downs and stuff, but like reality, there's ups and downs in any fucking relationship, right? Anyway, this is where the perfection comes in. Oh, and by the way, women or men, he's doing this, she's doing that, he's doing that. No, that's wrong. Do you know what that is? That's control, right? Control. Okay, I just want to point that out for a second before I forget. As a woman, you need to know what a man is doing. And this is what Cody said. It's prompted me to remember this. That, right? My ex back then showed me so much love, right? He woke me up to so many things, right? I'd never felt that much love before. I was uncomfortable receiving that much love. I was really, really uncomfortable receiving that much love. I'd never had someone be there for me back then like he was. Yeah, he wasn't doing this, and yeah, I was upset with this and this, but when I looked back on it, and that's the reason why I cried so much about what I'd lost, because it got to a point where he was like, I'm done, I'm out. Because you can only push men so far. You can push anyone so far, right? And then they're like, that's enough, right? And then we grieve the loss of what we had because we wake up and we're like, oh shit. It's about letting it in, right? When you said as a woman, you need to know what a man is doing. It's like, what are we focusing on? What they're doing wrong? Or are we taking a gratitude journal every single night and actually focusing on the good things in a relationship? Because you know what? Any fucking situation can go bad. Any situation, whether it's a relationship, whether it's career, whether it's anything. If you're focusing on the shit stuff, what are you going to do? You're going to create more shit stuff, right? In my Power My Life training, there's a free training in there on calling in your soulmate, on attracting a soulmate love, on attracting next level love, right? There is affirmations in there that are very, very powerful. When you are in a shit time in your relationship, you listen to them 24/7. They're audios. If you need them, please send me a message. I'll send you the link, right? You need to train yourself to focus on the good things in your relationships every single day, every single moment of every single day, because everything will try and pull you down, right? Now that, again, the fine line between abuse and not is, that we're going into a whole nother subject, and I've done audios, trainings on abuse and how to know where your values are so you can step up, blah, 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 right? You need to train yourself to focus. And when you're feeling abandoned, when you're feeling left out, when you're feeling unnurtured, when you're needing support and you're not getting it from the one person in your life you need it, to expect them to be there 100% of the time is unrealistic in any situation at all. Any situation, right? This is where we're training ourselves to be there for ourselves, to meet our own needs, to do all these things for ourselves, right? Again, doesn't mean that we don't let in help and ask for help. No, as I said, right? What do? We speak clearly. We get really clear on what we need, not all the zillion things that go along with that need. What's the need underneath all the shit that's going on? What's the need? Drop in, like there were all these things like, oh my God, this happened and this happened and this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Okay, drop in. What is it that you actually need? Under all that shit, there'll be one need. Get clear on it. Find it. Speak it with clarity. I've been feeling, I need, Can you, listen. Wait. As long as it fucking takes. You'll be like, oh, I want to say. Train yourself. If that person comes around and says, oh yeah, we can do that, right? Or you can say, how can we work this out together? Listen. If that person comes back and says, oh no, I can't, or whatever, then you go, okay, cool. And you meet your needs some other way. Because to expect that person to be there 100% of the time puts too much pressure on the relationship. Yeah? Okay, let me go through these comments. Yes, having to go through every experience to get where we're supposed to be. Okay, Kim says she started to see and own your bit in the relationship too. Yes, awesome. So Tammy says, just yesterday I read something about levels of consciousness and we shouldn't believe we are low or higher, pretty much judgments of being better than person or not. Yes, comparing ourselves to others. Exactly. Very solar plexus, very superiority. I'm better than you. Like, you need to do the work. You're the problem. Like, hello, 3 fingers pointing back at you. Like, as soon as you say you made me feel, you did this, that is your warning bell to go, oh shit, what am I not doing here? Hey, I got some stuff going on. I just need to process this. I might actually need to book in with Hannah or somebody else. I'll come back to this situation. I'm just letting you know I'm feeling a bit uneasy because I got these feelings going on. I'm a little bit unclear. I'm aware of that. I'm going to go and work on this. I can come back to this conversation when I'm clear. Is that okay? Can we come back to this at some point? Yeah? Let me check. Okay, so Kim says, I don't trust myself. I should have trusted my gut instinct before I married. I knew. My second relationship sounds a bit like your 5-year one. I don't know if I'm pushing him away as I've done that my whole life. Yep, very, 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 very common. Yep, and if we don't do our inner work, we will continue to do that. Relationship after relationship after relationship. Yeah. I wanted to say something else to that. Okay. I should have trusted my gut instinct before I married, I knew. Like, I just want to point out again, it's not like one way and this is the right way and that's it. It's linear. It's not linear. It's like this spider web of all these things, right? Of all these things that go on in the whole thing coming together. Because the reason that I stuck it out, and this is really important, the reason that I stuck it out, and it was about after 2 years I woke up and I'm like, oh shit, it's me, right? And I did like 3 years of solid like counseling with Lois. I fucking love Lois, oh my God. She's taught me to hold space. If you guys booked in with me and you feel me hold space to you, I'm like, that's like Lois training me, like, oh my God, like, right? But we actually need to experience it, to feel it, to be able to go, oh, this is what it's like, right? So the point that I'm sharing is it was like 3 years of solid, like, you know, like sitting there, learning like all this stuff, experiencing it, trial and error, like, you know, like, okay, I can do this, right? Lois has been married for just over 20 years or something, and like every relationship, like she told me so much, you know, I guess about relationships in general. It's like, you know, I guess I had this like unrealistic point of view about relationships to start with, right? And like in that sense, it's like it woke me up to so many things. I'm so grateful for my ex, because I definitely would not be able to see what I see now, right? And be there for and do whatever. The point is that there are, I just want to say this in this terminology. I do not like using this terminology because it's very judgmental and like, you know, but to explain the terms and how you can do it, there is actually many conscious, very spiritual women out there that I know that are with quote unquote unconscious men. Now, I use that terminology because I just want to say, like, I thought I wanted a conscious man, right? And I'm just saying that in that understanding that just because your man is not doing spiritual work, or he's doing the same personal development stuff and work that you are, doesn't mean like one that he's not conscious, doesn't mean that you know, you have to leave the situation and walk away, like just because he's not conscious and spiritual and not doing the fucking work, like, you know, like dig deeper, right? However, again, little side note, little like disclaimer, like if your intuition is telling you to leave, you need to trust that over what I'm saying. But I really want to stress the importance that just because they're not doing spiritual work doesn't mean that they're a bad person. If you have that judgment about your man because you've had a spiritual awakening and like, oh, well, he's not doing the work, so like he's wrong and all that, because I know that goes around in the spiritual circles because I've fucking seen it, I've experienced it, and it's absolute fucking bullshit, right? Want to talk about awakening the consciousness of humanity? How about holding space for people? How about doing the inner work and understanding the reality that when you do the inner work, your outer reality shifts, meaning you can turn your shit reality into a good reality if you do the inner work. You can turn a bad relationship into a good relationship if you do the inner work. Doesn't mean you stay in abusive situations. Please know I'm really stressing that importance. If you're in a domestic violence situation and your intuition tells you to fucking leave, you leave, right? But what I'm saying is when you spiritually grow and maybe you're the man doing the spiritual development work and your woman's not growing, does love say you're bad because you're not growing and doing spiritual work? How does that limit you in your spiritual evolution and development? What does love do? What does love say? When you really drop into the heart, of course, there is no like, oh, like, it's okay, they're being abusive to me, I can still love them. No, right? Really want to stress this important point home, okay? But if you're in a like, oh, I'm not sure if I should leave or stay, or like you've just broken up with a man or a woman, and you're like having all these realizations, you're like, oh fuck, and they're like, you're listening to me on live stream and you're like trying to make it up to them while we're still on live stream with me. I'm like, no, do your inner work for 30 days, minimum 30 days, minimum, before you make any more decisions. Because every decision you've made in your past has been correct at that moment in time. Doesn't mean you won't feel remorse for shit you said in anger or something at some point in time, right? There's a difference there. Let me check these comments. I keep doing this. Yeah, so Kim says, I'm trying to assess what my shit is still. I love him heaps, but I think I want a conscious man, right? And so I would say to you, like, you know, and this is the thing, like, there is no way that I would have been able to get through all of that without a mentor sitting in front of me and reflecting everything back to me. No way, ever. There is no way. If you are confused, get help, right? I don't care if it's not with me. I can hold space for you, right? If you get enough out of my live streams and stuff, imagine what working with me one-on-ones, right? Just saying. Plus, in my Trust Intuition course, which is open right now, by the way, Trust Intuition is going to be very different next year. I just got the internal guidance this morning, actually, about that. So if you want to jump into Trust Intuition now, I'm going to drop the link in the comments right now, because in that course, like, you know, I can't speak about it because I'm like, trust your intuition in every single moment that you've ever been in, right? So I'm just going to pop this in the comments here. Trust Intuition is open now. It's my signature course. It's like what was born out of everything that I've been through, because I listened to everyone outside of me, and I know that in the start of my relationship, if I did not listen to everyone outside of me, I probably would have, one, trusted my intuition more. I probably would have had more clarity, but I also probably wouldn't be the person I am now. I created Trust Intuition because I don't want you guys to go through what I went through. Everything is in that course, and a lot of my personal stories are through all those videos as well, because it led me to where I am now. I thought that I wanted a conscious man was when I actually started stepping up and doing the inner work. I went back to that relationship, and I went back at the end of the year, end of last year. And if you've been following me for a while, you guys would know this, right? And I went back, and he said something to me that kind of blew me a little bit away, and I was like, what? So in the start of our relationship, obviously I was a bitch and blah, blah, blah. And he said to me, he would always say in the start, there's something inside of you that wants to come out. There's this loving person in there, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Eventually, I'm like, oh, there was, right? And then at the end of our 5-year relationship, I'm like, but this is the person that you always said was inside of me. And he's like, well, I don't know if I love that, Hannah. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, okay then. It's not like I could go back to that person. I didn't want to go back to that person. But it showed me how much I'd grown and changed. In that moment, I let go of being with anyone ever. Because I got to a point where I could accept him as he was. Flaws and all, smoking and all. Because I was like, well, I don't care if you smoke anymore. Like in the start, it was a really big deal. I'm like, I can't be with smoker. Like, you have to eat raw food. You have to do this. You have to do yoga with me. Like, how about I just fucking do it, right? And if I really wanted that in a man, well, I should have left him and trusted my intuition and followed that, right? So when it got to a point where I came into enough deep acceptance within myself and worked through so much stuff, blah, 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 I got to a point where I'm like, I can accept that person. I'm like, I can accept you smoking and all, drinking, like whatever's. Like, I just love you. And he couldn't accept that. When that happened at the end of last year, I walked away. And I said to myself, I don't care if I'm single for the rest of my life. I've been married many, many lifetimes. I've had past lives where, you know, like I've done it. I'm like, cool. I had to let go of so much. I had to grieve so much that I would possibly never be in a relationship again. Because I got to a point where I valued certain things so much that unless people met those values, I wasn't interested. Plus, the past, 2 to 3 years pulled me away from doing my work and creating my business how I wanted. I got really, really clear on my values after all that experience. I'm like, this is what I value. This is what's important to me. Yes, I can accept a person 100% who they are now. and be in relationship with them, values aligned or not, because we did have different values, right? But I come into enough acceptance where I was like, I can love this person, values different or not, because I can meet my own needs. And I can still love this person as they are too. When that happened though, I was like, actually, no. I'm not going to be that person I was back then. That showed me how much I was growing. And I was like, well, unless someone's actually going to meet me here, then I'm willing to stay single for the rest of my life. It's literally what I said. I focused on myself. I got on with my life purpose. I continued to build my business. I fully aligned myself with what was important to me. I stayed focused. And what that actually did was actually bring someone into my life through attraction, through my solid clarity of, you know, inner work, vibration, frequency, whatever you want to call it. I was that clear that unless someone met me there, I wasn't interested. I had many people crack shits at me because they'd send me a private message asking me am I out on a date, and I'm like, took my single status off because I'm like, I'm over this. But I took my single status off because I attracted a man into my life who met me where I was at, who'd done the work, who continues to do the work. Important point for me was that in the breakup part of my 5-year relationship, like last year, like for last year, like I say, it's 5 years, but it was on and off for 5 years. And in that last year, your values have to be the same. Well, that's what I kind of realized in the end, right? It was another big of my wake ups because, and I think that's probably the biggest point, because there was always so much like, you're always working and like you don't spend time with me. And even like, you know, in the other relationship I had last year, and it was like, you're always working and like, oh yeah, I'm really supportive for you, like, but you're not spending time with me. I'm like, my vision, you know, you're always working. I'm like, my work is my life and my life is my work, right? I'm like, that's important to me. Anyway, it was more wake ups in that sense, right? Because last year, it was like the man I was with, you know, in the breakup, you know, so it was a different man, right? He'd done some spiritual work. And I was like, oh, cool, right? I should have seen the red flag in the start, because he's like, well, don't expect me to do any of your work. And I'm like, I'm not. It's like, okay. Like, I didn't even say anything. And it was just weird, like, you know, and as time went on, I was like, it was, I wouldn't say stuck, but I guess for me and myself, I was like, actually, I could see, I guess, the difference between doing some spiritual work and thinking that you're fixed and that you never have to do any ever again, and how, I guess, limiting or stuck that is. I don't know. Like, I think once we wake up, we need to keep doing the work, because otherwise, no, I don't know, you just never stops, right? But I don't believe that anyone who's not doing the work either isn't growing. Like, do you know what I mean? It's very, it's not linear. It's not a one-way thing. It's this, right? So when all that shit happened last year, if you guys have been following me for a while, you'd know the whole story of my Trust Intuition Tribe. You know the inside out story, right? Because I tell my Trust Intuition Tribe every single little detail about my life and every single thing, right? So when I actually stepped into 2018 and I was like, you know what, unless they meet me where I'm at, I'm not interested at all. At all. What happened was, through the law of attraction, because I was so clear on that, he literally turned up in my life without me doing a thing, but staying focused on my goals, on my values, on what's important to me. And it was like this, I even said to him, I was like, because I didn't kind of see it for a while. Like, I felt it, but I didn't see it. And I was just like, I'm so focused on my work, whatever it is. I'm just doing my thing. I'm taking care of myself. I'm sorting out my life, whatever the story was. And then when I actually thought about it, like when I look back over the weeks, the months leading up to us actually like coming together, it literally, for me, what I say it feels like is like literally like a magnetic pull. Like when I actually kind of thought back over the weeks and the months, I was like, oh, like that magnetic pull was like there. Cody, I hope you don't mind me saying your name on live stream. It's like literally like this pull, like it could not be ignored, right? And I'm like, I'm so grateful that I realized it, saw it, but it was so strong. It was like it could not happen because we stayed in that clarity. And it just so happens that he was actually kind of doing the same sort of thing in his life. It was like, I'm done. Like, you know, around the same kind of time we said it, like, you know, without us, oh, you've been waiting. without us knowing each other before them, right? We'd been through the same sort of thing in our life, or we got to a point and it was like, okay, enough is enough. Focusing on this. I'm doing this, right? And they're like out of the law of attraction, because we got clear in ourselves, because we just took time away from every other relationship. You know, if you guys have been following me, everyone should have known what? It's like, it literally, like, I can't really describe this, and I guess I'm sharing this because, like, through the law of attraction, like, being that clear on your values, being that clear on your energetic self, being that clear in your energetic field, and doing the inner work literally changes from the inside out. And remember at the very start of this live stream, I said, you know, when you do the inner work, your outer reality shifts. Some people will disappear out of that. Some people will come in, right? And they're the ones that are more aligned because you've done that, right? But it takes us to trust our intuition. It takes a lot of damn courage to walk away from situations that no longer serves us. It takes a lot of courage and strength to say no to things that are just a tiny bit off. Tiny bit off. And when you were that clear in all of that, it literally was like a magnetic pull. Wasn't it, Cody? We were like spoken about this before, and I'm like, it was like we could not come together, right? Like it was just like this, when I like talk about it, it's like literally like this like light, like, I don't know if you want to say a cord, but it's not a cord. It's like this beam of light, right? It's like a magnet comes together. That's how I feel with Cody. And I'm trusting that's how he felt with me. It's like came together, right? In that space. So Timothy says, this is where I'm at. I think I might have met someone. Yeah, and the thing is, like, you think you may have met somebody. It's kind of like this internal knowing. It's like a deep sense of like that. And it doesn't mean that it doesn't come without trials and tribulations and like possible ways to like pull you apart. But when you do your inner work first and then you bring that back to the table, that's when it all shifts. We can either repeat our patterns or we can learn from them and choose, most important point, choose to do something differently. Yay, thanks Teresa. And I just want to point out, if you're still in a relationship and you're having doubts, we can choose to change our patterns while still in a relationship. This is what I always say to my clients. I've had many clients come in and they're like, I think I need to leave my relationship, and they do the inner work and they're like, oh my God, you like saved our relationship, right? Sometimes you do need to trust yourself and you do need to walk away to attract what you really want. And only your intuition knows that. Only yourself knows that. And this is where coming to trust intuition, right? I've not been looking at these comments. Okay, I just want to point, I'm just going to skim through the comments and just say little things that jump out at me. So Kim says, I hear, Hannah, I suspect that may end up being the result in my relationship. I cannot be authentic. So if we cannot be authentic with our own self and know how to like bring that to the table, right? If we cannot be authentic with ourselves, how can we expect our relationship to reflect authenticity? Right? If we're not being truthful to ourselves, if we're not listening to ourselves, i.e. trusting our intuition, how can we expect that to be reflected in our reality? Now, that does not mean that when you get clear in yourself that it shifts, that your relationship breaks up. Sometimes it does, but when we do our inner work, this is like the epitome of shadow work. Got an issue with someone? Do shadow work. Watch it shift. Oh, it wasn't about them anyway. Oh, fuck. Right? Epitome of shadow work. Yeah, and this is the thing too, and you said, Cody, like your values have to be the same. And I'm like, in the end, I realized that it was, because it got to a point for me where I was like, in my relationship last year, I was like, well, I can love you where you're at. But then he turned around and couldn't do that. And I was like, well, I love the old Hannah. I don't think I love this new Hannah. And I'm like, but this is what you always told me. Right? Like, thank you for that, but I'm not being the old Hannah anymore. So we can't really go back. It's kind of like, you know, do that. You've been waiting for what? For me to say that. I love you, Cody. Boys, no, it's you. Okay. I'm trusting that I've covered these comments. Let me just have a look. Okay, let me check. I'm missing comments. Let me just scan these comments here. Mic drop. Okay, Kim says, I'm fighting with myself. He brings stuff up for me to deal with, but not entirely. Definitely meant to be together, but for a reason forever, I don't know. Yeah, and this is the thing. Like, if you're struggling to do it on your own, like, there's no way that I would have been able to do it, like, without all those sessions. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's only so much we can do on our own. Like, find a mentor, book in with them, do the work. That's all I'm saying. So Aurora says, yes, just pulled this card today when I did the inner father meditation and learned how to connect with the absence. I felt I was lacking. Yes, it is within me. Fuck yes, it is. Yes, thank you, Aurora. Aurora is in my Trust Intuition course. If you guys really want all the tools and you really want to do it, in my Trust Intuition course. I thought that was lightning. I was like, and there's the lightning, but it's the helicopter going over. Right? Do it more frequently, exactly, right? This inner family stuff, right? I'm going to release a little package soon, but it is in my Trust Intuition course in module 3 for a reason, because it's right in the middle of us being able to trust our intuition, right? There's 5 modules, there's 5 steps for a reason, right? If you don't have this part down packed, and if you don't consistently do it, remember I said a couple of days ago, and I said, here's the cure for abandonment. Here's the cure for feeling alone. Do inner child work, and don't just do it once. Do it every fucking day until you don't feel alone anymore. And then do it consistently every week as maintenance, just like brushing your hair or having a shower. All the time, right? All the time. Until I actually did the work consistently, this man didn't turn up in my life who also does the work consistently. I might have done it every now and again, but then when I kept turning up for myself consistently, that's when the magnetic pull came in and pulled Cody and I together. No wonder I never got into module 3. I didn't want to do it. Yeah, a lot of people have resistance to module 3. They're like, oh, I'm just going to go to module 4. And I'm like, can you go back to module 3, please? Can we please? Nobody wants to face their family stuff, especially empaths, right? Especially empaths. So Aurora says, imagining how I imagine my father and how it would feel supportive. It's like the biggest healing ever, right? Father healing is the biggest healing ever for men. Mother healing, biggest healer ever. But, you know, flick it around. We've both got it, right? Need to do both, yeah? Okay, that was a problem. I talked too much. Oh, yeah, saw that one. Okay, so Lena says, I'm struggling with me speaking my truth about what I need. I get lots of talk back and then no action. Yeah, so that would be, you know, like there's the next steps that you can take to kind of, you know, bring that into action about that. I'm wondering if you're still here on this live stream, Lena. Yeah, and the same thing what you're saying there, Timothy, but then she also explained it was like she was blown away with my love and support and understanding more than she'd ever experienced. Yes, then more than she'd ever experienced for sure. Yeah, can you guys send me a private message about sending you the link, please? Oh, I think, what's her name's put it in the comments there too. Christine. Yay, thank you, Christine. So glad it's helped you. Had a similar relationship, but honestly gave my power away speaking my truth, what I want or needed, solar plexus. Yep. but this in turn caused abuse within the relationship. Yeah, so it's like a fine line again between abuse, and there are ways to, you know, approach things, and this is where like getting outside help is like imperative to either saving, making, or breaking a relationship, right? Really important to know what inner work to do the fucking inner work, and then, you know, be in that space, right? I'm just checking these comments here. So Kim says, I wish for others not have to go through so much if they don't need to. Yeah, and that's why I created my Trust Your Intuition course, for sure. So Kalia says, you're so strong. Seems like that's my choice right now. It's so hard to even think about. Yeah, and that's when like we need to like drop in and do that inner work, yeah? And by the way, can I share this? Is Cody even still here? I don't want to share this. I feel nervous to share this. I don't know if Cody's gone or not. That is where I screwed up in the past, is I get comfy and the work gets pushed aside. Yeah, and that's where it's like a constant thing. It's like, you know, if things are turning to shit, it's really important to, like, the first place you go to is not even to them. You do not go to your partner when shit's going on. Like, if you're feeling stuff, it's kind of like, hey, I'm feeling this, and this is what me and Cody do, right? It's kind of like, because this is the thing where, like, I'm just so grateful for you, Cody. I love you so much, because I'm so grateful that, you know, like, we're so fucking intuitive. We're both intuitive as fuck, right? This, like, if someone was gonna meet me there, has to meet me there, right? Has to go as deep as me, right? So the thing with Cody and I is that, like, and you guys know, you wouldn't be following me if you're not, right? It's like, we're empaths, we're sensitive, we're intuitive, we feel fucking everything, right? And the biggest thing, and there's so many like things that I learned, you know, like even like, I don't know if you guys have seen that live stream that I did, and I spoke about, you know, when we as empaths, as sensitives, whatever, and we're like we sense something, we intuitively get the message. If we're not clear about it, we'll speak it about the other person. And then what happens is that other person gets triggered because we've just spoken the truth. We're just picking up their subconscious self. We've spoken it. They're not even fucking aware of it. So they react back. Then they throw it on us, and then we get confused in our intuition. And then we're like, oh fuck, like, oh, maybe it wasn't us. Oh, maybe that wasn't right. And we get confused, and then this whole fucking mess goes, right? Now, what happens with, like, you know, like, say with Cody and I freaking love this, right? Oh, you say you love me too. I just see the comments now. I'm like missing comments because I want to keep talking. So, like, it's like Cody and I can, like, we feel stuff, right? We feel stuff. So then we're like, hey, like, I can feel this going on. Like, what is this going on? And then we're like, oh, well, this is going on. Oh, well, that's what I'm picking up. Okay, cool, right? Done. Like, shifted, cleared. Instant communication, clarity in communication, right? It's there. We all feel the energy. When we put a name to it, and then we can, like, you know, like, shift that through the voice. Like, we just put a name to it. It's like, oh, it's not me. It's not you. Okay, cool. Got it. This is what's going on, right? Because we're feeling it. And sometimes we're feeling each other's stuff before we become aware of it. But when we've learned to just hold space, that we're like, okay, cool. Just let it be there. Okay, do I need to say something? Do I not? Do I need to do my inner work first? Okay, cool. What's going on here, right? When we speak to it, it shifts it very instantly. You want that type of relationship. Okay, here's how you get this type of relationship. Okay, cool, Cody, you're still here because I'm going to talk about this, and I'm really kind of nervous to say this bit. Let me just scan these things. You don't know how to do inner child work? Yeah, so in my Trust Your Intuition course, all the tools are there. Inner child stuff is in there for sure too, and I go through all of that in there. Hey Heidi, wasn't purposely ignoring you guys. I'm just like in my flow. Yes, exactly. Yeah, the more we support ourselves in both balance, giving and receiving within, then we attract that outside. So let me just scan through. So, okay. So my free training, the Power My Life training, right? This is what I said, like, you want that type of relationship? I'm like, well, do everything that I've said on this live stream, get support, shift, do the inner work, but also call in your soulmate, like, you know, literally do this thing, right? So, oh, I'm talking about going, do I blush or something? Is that what's going on? Oh no. Okay, like, go away, don't say that. Join Joshua, I am going red. No, why did you say that? Let me open the window. Stop. That's not cool, right? Why did you say that? Okay, so what am I wanting to say? Okay, cool. I'm trusting it's okay to talk about this, Cody, when this is not fair. Why are you guys doing this? Cody, you need to get a live stream with me, damn it. Okay, can I just like so you guys want to know, like do everything I said, you know, and like for 9, so okay, I don't need to repeat this story. As I said, like this magnetic pull that pulled us together. So in the free training, the Power My Life training, like please send me a private message to send you the link, right? There is the attracting next level love, attracting, you know, calling you soulmate, whatever you want to call it, right? Attracting next level, attracting this next level love, right? The love that you can like have that, right? What we got is like, hey, I'm feeling this. What's going? Okay, cool. Yep, sweet, done, cleared, shift, instant, right? Doesn't mean that we haven't been through stuff in the past few months that could have broken us apart. Does not mean it's been easy. Fuck no, right? Does it mean it's been fucking amazing? Yes, right? Because every time it's brought us closer because we've worked through stuff, and even though it's been uncomfortable and hard, we've stayed with it, right? And it's shifted, yeah? You're lost. Didn't you watch that live stream? You mustn't have watched it in the group, Heidi. So in that Power My Life training, right, there's a calling, I can't remember what I called it, Next Level Love, I think. And it's like only a 10-minute video, but I go through these affirmations that I created, right? I actually did it for the Life Purpose Mentorship, and like there are affirmations to call in your next level love, right? And I had so much resistance to writing these affirmations because I knew the power of them, right? I knew the power of them, and I had to do them because I'd set a schedule in the Life Purpose Mentorship. I was releasing affirmations every week. There's money, there's health, there's love, there's like all of that, right? And the training even came out late because I knew the power, and I'm like, I don't want to write this, I don't want to focus on that because I don't want to call in someone because I'm like, I know what's gonna happen, right? So I like the training came out a week late. I did the affirmations, right? And I did them, and I'm like, here you go, guys, here's the affirmations. And I'm like, cool, I'm just gonna get on with it now because I'm just gonna get on with it now, right? And so anyway, so then Cody's jumped in, like, you know, for this training, and like it was just like, it wasn't like, I don't know, for that. It was like there's 4 different subjects in that training, right, guys? And if you like, and that's why, as what I always say with that training is, if you listen to all the training videos, to all the audios, to like the whole package in there, because there's an underlying thread through the whole thing, right? So I say listen to it all. So anyway, Cody had got this, you know, training, and I didn't know, and like I don't know who signs up for my stuff. I could go and check, but it's like I don't. Anyway, so. I didn't know. I don't know. Why do I have to share this? Why can't you be here telling the story too, Cody? I'm nervous saying this. Anyway, so obviously we've come together with this pool, and we can tell that whole story when we do a live stream together, perhaps. The point that I'm wanting to share is, like, I don't know, I think it was in August or something. I'm like, needed to write new affirmations for whatever training I was doing, and I pull up the template of like what I've already written, so I don't have to create the whole, you know, I've got a pretty border around it and everything. So anyway, I pulled it up, and for whatever reason, the attracting love, like next level love, like were the ones that I opened, and I was reading them, and I'm like, did I write this? And I was like, did I write this? And I'm like, because I was a bit blown away because I knew that I had so much resistance to it and I hadn't looked at it since because I was like, I know the power in it. I don't want to watch it, right? I don't want to listen to it. And so like I copy and pasted it and I like sent it to Cody and I was like, oh, this sounds like someone that I know, right? And he's like, yeah, you think? He's like, I remember listening to those. And I'm like, what? I was like I'm like, how did you're not in the life, like at the time he wasn't in Life Purpose Mentorship. And then I dawned on me, I'm like, oh, like you listen to them too. And he's like, and it was just like this thing. And I'm like, and it's so interesting because about the same time I sent those affirmations to a client of mine and she read them once and she's like, I don't think I need to read them again because they're really powerful and I got it, right? And I'm like, I know, that's how I felt when I channeled them, right? And anyway, it was just like this thing and I'm like, oh my God, like, so we've both been doing our inner work. We'd both been doing these things and it was just like this pull together and I'm like, oh my God, I didn't realize that you'd been doing them too. When I look at those affirmations, I'm like, it's identical. Like I wrote them. So I'm like, this is what I want. Guys, when you do these affirmations, change them to what you want, right? That's what I say. And then I looked and I'm like, it's identical, right? I know. So it's identical. So like Cody and I like identical. It's like, okay, right, got it. That's what everyone in Trust Intuition said, Heidi. You haven't obviously seen that live stream, obviously. So I guess I just want to share, I'm like, you want to attract that next level love. I'm like, you know, do everything I said on this live stream, but like listening to those affirmations, like we literally create our reality. And I say to people with those affirmations, I'm like, if you're in a relationship, you can actually change your current relationship by doing your inner work because whatever we're feeling inside is reflecting and rippling out. So when we change that, then this ripples out, right? And it's like, you know what they say, it's like some ratio. So one positive thought is like 10 times stronger than one negative thought or something. It's 10, I don't know. So outweighs 10 negative thoughts. That's what it is, right? So one positive thought outweighs 10 negative thoughts, yeah? So it's like this, yes, you're a proof. Yes, Heidi. Yes, this is what I mean. Like there is lots of women, and I know you jumped in late, but that's what I was saying at the start of this live stream. I'm like, there is a lot of women out there who've done the inner work and shifted their relationship, even though their man doesn't do a lot of personal development work. And I say that like this because everyone is always growing, right? But just because we're changing internally in ourselves doesn't mean that our relationships can't change because we're the ones creating what's in front of us, right? We have a huge contribution to that. Yes, it takes two to tango and it takes both to be willing to be in the relationship. But if only one person is willing to be in the relationship and going, you're the problem, blah, blah, and we're not looking at ourselves, well, of course it's just going to be like, right? So I see there's like a few new people saying hi, yeah, your first live stream and all of that, which is awesome. Who was that? Sorry, I'm just trying to find. Rowena, so lovely to have you here. So Tammy says, I feel there is a relationship coming that's right for me. I trust intuition. Yes. Tammy, you're in Trust Intuition too. I love it, love it, love it. I can't believe you didn't know, Heidi. I just thought you knew because you watched the live stream, but you didn't. Love it. Multitasking, Shannon. Okay, cool. I can jump off this live stream, said I needed to say. And now everybody knows that conscious relationships are possible. I guess what I wanted to say, you know, like the whole point of me doing this live stream, and I guess what irked me on to do this live stream was the fact that I'm like seeing people like break up and then post all this shit like, conscious man does this and a conscious man does that and conscious man, I'm like, are you fucking doing your inner work yourself? Like, I'm sorry, but just because I'm like, I don't want you to go through what I went through. I'm like, just look within first. Like, you know, let's do this first and then like get clear in yourself first and then align yourself and then see what turns up, right? Because I thought that I wanted a conscious man and I went through all that shit when I realized it was actually me. And when I do the inner work, I was like, I've attracted a conscious man. Like, they can be there and do what I do. It's like, we're identical. That's why I love you, Cody. I'm so on point. Yeah, and again, it's all about trusting your intuition, right? I told Aurora that you need to allow us to post a blurb on your page about those changes. Go for it. Go for it. If you want to share that, Heidi, please don't hold back about that at all. I would love to hear that. So if you guys are not interested in tuition, the link is pinned to the top in the comments here. The super early bird is open now. Super early bird will be closing next Wednesday, so just under a week now. Hey, Michael and Alina, I saw you join live, so I was seeing these people. Say hi, Angela. Who are these people? If you think this live stream can help somebody, please share it with them, even in a private message, or tag them in it, or share it on your page. This can help save relationships. It can help save our own relationship with ourselves by allowing ourselves to trust our intuition and really drop into what our truth is and get really clear. Because when we're not clear, right, it's very solar plexus, right? It's our personal power, it's our self-worth, it's our self-esteem. That's why I created an entire course. Trust your intuition is based on the solar plexus, right? Is why it is like, you know, our self-worth, self-esteem, trusting ourselves, believing in ourselves, right? Otherwise, we step into control, superiority, egotistical stuff, which is why the world is kind of a little bit skewy, which is coming back into balance, because our solar plexus is where our base of our balance stems from, right? There's a lot of balance poses in the solar plexus light field yoga sequence for that reason, because it is equality. It's not better than, less than, right? It's equality. And that starts from doing the inner work and finding that internal balance within yourself, right? So if you think that this can help somebody, like I said, please share it. Oh, you've already shared it. Thank you so much, Timothy. All right. Thanks for joining live. I know it was a long live stream. I just said to Christine, I'm like, how can I make it a short live stream? I'm like, I just do long live streams. I'm like, oh, well, it's like Hannah TV or something. And next time, Cody, you can come live with me. Damn it. I'm not talking about us again without you. Well, I probably will, but you know, anyway, see you soon. Namaste.